channel if you're new here, and welcome back if you are already subscribed. In today's video, I will be giving you the details on Venus and Sagittarius from my perspective, since I also have this placement. So stay tuned and let's get into it. If you don't know already, Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter. Jupiter rules expansion and luck, and also abundance. And since your Sagittarius is in Venus, Venus is ruled by Taurus and Libra placements. So Venus is the planet of romance, beauty, art, creativity, aesthetics, and the list goes on, everything beautiful and romantic in life. If you want to make it really complicated, we can get into how your Venus and Sagittarius plays with your Libra and Taurus placements, but that is a little bit too complex. I'm not going to get into that today. I'm going to stick to the guns and just tell you what it is like having Venus and Sagittarius and what to expect from yourself and others. Venus is the planet of love and romance. Venus likes to express itself through excitement and adventure, especially when it's in Sagittarius. If you have Venus in Sagittarius, you are free-spirited, you are adventurous, you probably are like a hippie. You're like a, how do you say? Well, I'll say, it's like you're a mix between a hippie and a person that really likes fancy shit. Like, you love luxury just as much as you love freedom. And people can see that as a conflict of interest, but it makes perfect sense to you if you have this placement. If you were born with this placement, typically can be seen as the life of the party, bring excitement, warmth, and just another level of elegance to events, situations, and things. Even if you're an introverted person or not much of a social person, when you're in an environment where you feel comfortable and you can express yourself freely, you are the most comfortable, you're the most diplomatic, you're the most vibrant, because what's important to people with Venus and Sagittarius is that you can be your authentic self at all times. And a lot of people don't realize how important this is to you. Like, freedom and authenticity is everything. It's at the top of anything you do in your life. And just because you value freedom and authenticity does not mean that you value disrespect. Like, you want people to be free and be themselves, but you don't want people to disrespect you in that same instance. And that's where sometimes your love life may get rocky, because as much as you want people to be themselves and you give them room to breathe, you don't have to accept everything that comes along with it either. Like, you have the choice to walk away. With Jupiter being your ruling planet, you're typically very lucky in love, and well, depending on which house your Venus is in, it will highlight where your luck lies. So say your Venus is in the first house, you'll love life, you'll be luckier in love by just being yourself, because the first house rules identity and the body and your image. So you'll be very lucky and find love just by being yourself. If your Venus is in the third house, it will be more about how you present yourself to the world, how you speak, how you think. You might meet people through like socializing events. Just somebody might fall in love with how eloquent you are, or how outspoken you are, or how free-spirited your energy is. Whatever the case may be, whatever house your Venus is in highlights where you will most likely find love in your lifetime. If you have this placement, you may typically enjoy being in warm and tropical climates. Being cold is not your thing. It's not for you. I always tell my mom, if I didn't have a daughter when I was 23, I would be naked on someone's beach somewhere for the rest of my life. And that's still the plan, but I have to take care of my daughter first. But needless to say, if you have this placement, you are attracted to the unconventional and exotic. Like, weird people, for some reason, it's just your thing. Like, you, for some reason, the weirder the better, the more atypical, the better. Like, you don't want people who are cookie cutters and are doing the same thing that everyone else, which is why the people that you date are never the same. There's no particular type for Venus and Sagittarius people, because it's all about authenticity. It's about vibrant. It's about adventure. It's about freedom. It's about being so uniquely yourself that it's just like, who is this person? I want to know more. So we become intrigued and we get to know that person. In some cases, people may have called you reckless and naive in some part of your life. I know I've been called that multiple times in my life, and it's just simply not true. The thing is, since we have unconventional views on love and commitment, people may try to put us in a box that we just don't fit in. Like a Virgo Venus will be very practical, business-minded, logical. They have to do it a certain way or it's not going to work. Venus and Sagittarius is more like, if it feels good, I'm going to keep doing it, and if it feels bad, I'm going to fucking walk away from it until it feels good again. It's not so cut and dry. It's not one way or the highway. Like, we definitely are flexible, but it has to be grounded in respect and trust and love. Because you can make a commitment about anything. There's so many types of commitments. And honestly, as long as it's not immoral, like, you know, bestiality or something like that, typically people with Venus and Sagittarius are pretty flexible with our partners as long as we can have that open, honest, fluid communication. But the moment we stop feeling safe to be ourselves, our authentic selves, or we feel like our partner is hiding a part of their selves from us, the relationship's not going to work. And also, if you have a Venus and Sagittarius placement, someone that's trying to overcommit too soon, like it just met you and then 3 months they're like, you're gonna marry you, you're gonna be my wife, you're gonna do this, this, and that, like, you'll be like, okay, I was just trying to have fun and see where this goes, but cool, bye. Like, and that's not because of fear of commitment. It's just that we don't know you well enough. We haven't explored how fun you can be, how adventurous can be, how much of a best friend you can be to us to make such a commitment. We just want to go with the flow. We want to see how it goes, how good it can get with this person without the pressures and restrictions and obligations that come with being committed to someone. It's not that we're incapable of committing, it's just that we have to see that you're worth committing to. You have Venus and Sagittarius, you are a very knowledgeable person, because you pretty much, it's kind of like an obsessive syndrome where you pick up something new and you get to know as much about it as possible, and then you put it down and you find another thing, you pick it up, get to know as much about it as possible, and then you put it down, because we tend to, like I've said before, go where the wind takes us. We find things that are interesting to us, that is unique, that is just authentic, and we want to fill ourselves up with as much as possible, because the Sagittarius placement is the ninth placement. The ninth house is ruled by higher knowledge, higher learning. So with that being said, a Sagittarius will typically be a very knowledgeable person, a scholarly person, even if others don't see it because they're so weird and so quirky and it seems like they're bouncing from one thing to the next, but they have that capability to do so because they immerse themselves in so many things, because they literally love life and want to know as much about life as possible, that for certain people who want to be more practical or conventional, that can be a deterrent. So, you know, we're not for everybody, but we can be with anybody, you know what I'm saying? I've said before, Venus and Sagittarius placements, we are free-spirited. Sagittarius is a mutable sign. If you don't know what mutable is basically flexible. It's a flexible placement. It's kind of like you don't want to overcommit and you also don't want to pull yourself away, so you kind of do and just go where the wind takes you, and then whatever sticks, sticks, and whatever doesn't stick, you let fall to the wayside. There is no harboring of resentments unless like it's deep pain from a relationship that you invested yourself in and dedicated time in and didn't realize that you wasted it. Because as we all know, it doesn't matter what sign you are, time is the one thing we can't get back. But nevertheless, the strengths of having this placement is that you're easygoing, you can talk to anyone, you're laid back, and you're free-spirited. Likely you're a very adaptable person. You can adapt easily to any situations. Even if something goes wrong, you'll be like, I see why. Like, let me try to think of an example. Like, for example, say like you might have had a friendship end, right? And your friend that ended the friendship is like really upset and has all of these emotions connected to it, and you're just like, if you don't want to be in my life anymore, I'm not going to stop you. Like, we value personal freedom, personal choice, personal identity. We're not going to harbor, because life goes on, and we know that life is this big journey that's meant to be explored. And if that phase of our life is over and that exploration with that person is over, we're just like, okay, what's next? Like, we're always open to the next best thing that can happen to us, because with that Jupiter energy, you feel like there's just, when you're ruled by Jupiter, there's so much value in focusing on the abundance that can happen, the luck that can happen, and how much you can expand. Like, there's no limitation when you have such a strong Jupiter placement. Like I've said before, you are passionate about adventure and exploration. I know I am. Like, I love to travel. I have like a bucket list to travel to every island that exists, like, and that there's like over 2,500 islands that exist in the world. And guess what? I'm gonna travel to as many as those islands as I can before I die, because I just love to travel. I love to meet people. I love to immerse myself in different cultures. I just love to just see what's going on. Like, I want to know what's going on. And the great thing about travel and adventure is the more you experience different people, different cultures, different communities, you see how much we're the same. Like, yes, they have different practices and different ways of living, but the mindset, the way we process life, the way we view life, it all comes full circle, and there's just something so rewarding and so grounding about that. Also a great value in for a Venus and Sagittarius person to be physically active. If you're not a physically active person, you're not feeding this energy. If you have Venus and Sagittarius, you should definitely work out your lower body, because Sagittarius rules the thighs. Even if you don't go to the gym, go for a jog, go for a walk, do squats around the house, do squats over your toilet, do squats over your sofa. It doesn't have to be too much, but you want to activate that muscle, because that is activating your self-love within yourself, and it's going to expand more love to you because it's coming from you. Like, telling you from experience. The stronger your legs, you traveler, the better love you will have within yourself, and the more love you will attract with it to you. If you have Venus and Sagittarius, like, you typically don't go by schedule. It's just, like I said before, you go where the wind takes you. No day is the same unless you have, you have work or you have responsibilities like a child. But before I had my daughter, I literally would wake up, put on the cutest, most colorful outfit I can find. I kind of like do a monochrome. I typically like burnt orange. And I'll just like go do some random shit. Go do some random shit and end up having the best day of my life. And there's people who can't do that. There's people who need to know where they're going, what they're doing, how they're gonna do it, what time they're gonna be back. Venus and Sagittarius people, they just go And when that moment happens, there's always a moment, I know you know what I'm talking about, like there's always a moment within a day where you're just like, this is why. This is why I came here. This is why I wore this outfit. This is why I turned right instead of left today, because it's always something so rewarding and refreshing in your involvement with people in your day-to-day activity. If you have a Venus in Sagittarius, you're most likely a generous and optimistic person. And the only time that you don't feel generous and optimistic is when you're depressed. Like, point blank period, I can speak from experience. Like, I had to realize that about myself, that like my core personality is pure joy. And I mean like pure joy. So whenever I don't feel, I'm not joyful and I'm not just like completely deliriously and I mean deliriously optimistic and happy, something's wrong, something's not right. I'm either not eating right, I'm not exercising, there's stress in the family, like there's always an outside variable that affects that, because your core identity and core personality of being is joy and optimism. And if the thing is, staying in that vibration is only going to attract more to you, because you have Jupiter and Venus literally working with you to bring you as much abundance and beauty and luck and just fucking joy that you can ever imagine. But you have to step into it, but you also have to treat yourself right. So inspiring and uplifting others brings so much fulfillment to us, especially since it's a fire sign energy, and most fire signs, the way fire signs manifest is by encouraging and inspiring others. So with Venus, if you have Venus in Sagittarius, there's just so much joy in being generous with your inspiration or encouragement or inspiring someone. Like that will make your day bigger than anything else in the world. So as I said before, you're ruled by Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So you have the uncanny ability to attract fame and fortune into your life. And I'm not kidding. You have more so than anyone else the ability to attract fame, fortune, and notoriety in your life. If you're the type of person that seems to always be in the it crowd and you're like, you don't know why. There's two types of Venus in Sagittarius. There's the one that's super humble and always ends up in situations like me. Like I literally don't even know how I get most of the invites that I get. I don't even know how I'm in people's mouths and conversations, but somehow I am, and I end up in places that I can't even imagine. I get free concert tickets all the time. Like I get invited to exclusive events that I shouldn't have access to, but I do. I don't know why. And then there's the Venus and Sagittarius person that works hard. Well, not work hard, but you know, they intentionally make sure that they're in these spaces and places. Like they network. I'm not a networker. I'm introverted. I don't like feeling fake. I don't like feeling like I'm trying to manipulate a situation to be a certain way. So I typically avoid those type of situations. But nevertheless, no matter what type of Venus and Sagittarius person you are, you have the uncanny ability to attract fame, fortune, and notoriety into your life. And if you harvest this and use this, you will be set for life. You won't have to worry, and you can have the life of your dreams. You can be as free as you want to be. You can be naked on the beach how you want to be. Whatever your dream life is in your head, you can get all of the free things. You will never have to pay for anything again. Like seriously, like we have this gift. So I'm like begging you to use it. But also the best way to stay in this vibration is, again, taking care of yourself, working out your lower body. Sagittarius rules the legs. If you really want this, you need to work out your lower body. I don't care, man or woman. Keep that part of your body engaged and active. Keep those muscles stimulated. Some of the careers that Venus and Sagittarius person may find success in are higher education, travel, did I say publishing? Acting, and any other photography, and any other creative outlet. Even what was I gonna say? La, la, la. Oh yes, and fine arts. I tend to see a lot of Venus and Sagittarius people that just demolish the fine art industry. Like we just have an uncanny gift in that. Like it just is what it is. And this is because like if you have a Venus and Sagittarius, you have a one in a kind. You have a one in a kind personality, and being in any type of entertainment and any outlet of the entertainment industry gives you the creative expression that you need to be free and self-identify yourself and just self-expression, but also it gives you the space to show all of your faces without feeling judged, without feeling shamed, without feeling diminished. It's like it's celebrated, and you want to be in places where your creativity and your uniqueness and your wittiness and your quirkiness is celebrated and not made small, because it is of your best interest to feel your best and your optimistic self, because the more optimistic you feel, the more generous you can be, the more luck you will attract, the more abundance you will attract, and so on and so forth. It all works together. So some people may say that our weakness or our flaw is that we are too blunt. I can say I don't think it's a flaw. I think that it's something that people dislike about us, but honesty is so important, and it took me a long time to get to this space where I can speak the truth with eloquence and grace and tact. When I was a kid, I definitely wasn't the most eloquent person, but one thing I can say throughout the course of my life, no matter who has run into me, I have always told them the truth, and I've always been honest, and I've always moved with integrity. That's something that can't say. They could switch up the words and say that I was a bitch or whatever, but the truth don't lie, okay? It can, our bluntness and our honesty can cause conflict and chaos in our relationships if we're not careful to be mindful of other people's emotions and feelings, which is also another flaw that we may have. Since we can be so honest and direct, it may come off as if we are unemotional, like completely unemotional and unsympathetic, which isn't true. That's not the case. It's just that we try to be as honest as possible, but most people live in a world where it's like you have to put a blanket over everything, and sugarcoat, like put sugar on top of shit and make it taste better. I just never been a fan of it, but needless to say, these are our flaws. We come off as too blunt. We come off as unsympathetic. We also can be reckless with our spending. So these are just things that we have to be mindful of, so that awareness is key, right? So when you're aware of something, you can be better. With the unsympathetic notion, like I know that sometimes instead of like getting into a fight, I'm not a confrontational person, because I try to keep the peace and the harmony. So like I don't really start fights. I don't start conflict. I'm not that person. Like I'll rather just eat my words when it comes to like super negative emotions until I have something to have a way to say it that's better, or like I just hide it completely and try to just keep it copacetic and keep the harmony going, which is also not good and can be very toxic and harm relationships as well. So just something to be mindful of. And also our reckless spending habits. It's just because we like beautiful things, and also like we're ruled by the energy of abundance. So it's like whatever we spend is gonna come back. Like it's fine. Like money is an energy, right? So if you're aware of the fact that money is an energy, you're not really super concerned with losing money, because money's always coming in abundance. Like it's just a thing. But when you're around people who don't have this placement, and they're like penny pinching and crunching numbers, and they're like worry, you're over there like, it's fine, it's gonna be great, like we're gonna get the money, it's fine, like we're that friend, and your friends are looking at you like, yeah, maybe you'll get the money, but we have to be practical around here. So Just something to be mindful of. Again, everyone is not us, so we can't give them our blessings. The blessings are inside of you. They're in you, they're not on you. So no one can take them from you, and it's not our job to try to give advice, especially financial advice, to people who are not in alignment with our vibration, because it will be detrimental to them. It won't be beneficial to them. Another flaw that we have is our fear of commitment. Like, this is a I don't think I'm not gonna say that I am all about commitment. I'm not gonna say that, but I will say that it's not that we fear commitment, but at the end of the day, we're not willing to jeopardize our personal freedom for a commitment. And that's the difference. And that, I think that's the misunderstanding. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, you know, commitment requires sacrifice. But sacrifice for who? Like, everyone is not the same. If there's freaking 8.5 billion people in the world, I'm pretty sure I can find someone who's not going to make me sacrifice my freedom, my hopes, my dreams, and my wanderlust for them. Like, obviously they're not the one. This is my Venus and Sagittarius talking, so. But yeah, so like, if you have this placement, most likely your fear of commitment, your fear of losing your personal freedom is seen as a fear of commitment. But if you find the right person who is about that adventurous life, like it's about letting you be your purest, authentic self without holding you back in any way, and you also give them the same space to do so, and y'all can live like interdependently together and not codependently together, and just continue to like bring out the best in each other. That is like the dream of a Venus and Sagittarius person. Like, I know that's my dream. But so the next time someone tells you that you have a fear of commitment, say no. I don't have a problem with committing or intimacy. I have a problem with losing my freedom in the process. See how they respond. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, take care of yourself.